And we're here in a spot. This is our getting place for Dogbane. We had to travel many, many miles because it's not as freely growing in the rivers and the streams like where it should be in the Lahontan Valley or in the Carson River or the Truckee River anymore. So we're out here because it grows plentiful. We're looking for Dogbane, or in Paiute it's called weha. And it's the string and the fibers are used to tie our world together, basically. What's telling us it's ready is that it's actually turning red, and if you smell it, it has a really nice woody smell to it. It's a very distinct smell. It smells really good. A stalk about this big would probably get you one piece of string about that long after it's all wound up. A little bit more than half. It's almost beyond being healthy anymore because it's so thick. There wasn't enough in Stillwater. There was only one little patch, and probably about 3-4 years ago somebody came and just bulldozed it under, and it's not there anymore. So I don't know where to get it anymore. At least close to home. You always want to go close to home, of course. You know, trying to get it back to where we can start having these in the rivers. The reason why it's not prevalent in the rivers anymore is because it's poisonous to cattle, and it was eradicated, and it's not a good plant. Just like the milkweed, I guess they get sick, the cattle get sick from it. And this area has plentiful of everything. Like you have the sunflowers, the sunflower seeds, and it's a huge amount. That one already bloomed and it already dropped its seeds. And also you could see the cane with all those little white tops there. That's wild cane, or wakoko. As I started asking questions about things, you know, like the Dogbane, you ask who knows about it, you know, you don't find anybody anymore. Just like Wasson in Walker River, he was a gentleman who was noted for making his rabbit nets. You know, educating the younger people is kind of trial and error because they're having to contend with so many different things in their life. You know, you have the internet, you have their video games, you have their friends, you have their just so many different things. If you look out here in this landscape, you knew what it was for. I remember this one plant, I smelt it before, you know. I know what that is. That's what they used to make string out of. If they could identify just one little thing, or, you know, knew how it was used, you know, that's a little bit more than what they learned, you know, the day before. These are too old because these are like a few years ago. It's probably still okay, but the fibers get a little bit weak in their hull. It's not as strong as nice new growth, but you can still get some fibers out of it. The only thing is like freshen out your knotted hair. It gets big tangles. All right. This is beautiful stalk right here. See how big and thick it is?
No, I ain't hit no hole yet. We bought another two out in the morning. I got some of the dry ones too.
Yeah, that's good. Because we can actually use these maybe even
the dry ones. Dry ones are ready now.
This one will.
Take enough off of it.
We'll see what that looks like. But it's a good, nice fat stalk.
Got a lot of them in here.
These are cool ones. This one's a little bit old. Let me see. Might have to crack it in a couple spots here. And depending on where so I have, you could see two pieces here. And when I turn it sideways, so we clipped off the outer core. And this is a perfect one. When you're looking at a dogbane, it has three different parts to it. It has an outer bark, it has the fiber, then it has the pithy core. If you're making something a little bit more finer, maybe say for a necklace or something, you really wouldn't want the bark on it, so you'd probably just scrape it off. But if you're making like long pieces, you know, at a faster rate, it probably wouldn't matter if the bark was left on, like if you're making a rabbit net or something like that. You want to be really careful because when you're cracking it off, it could fracture the fibers below. So this one got a little bit thin. Sometimes the rabbit nets get a little bit thicker than this. They'd probably use two at a time. But it's really beautiful and really thin. And it is strong.
Once you got it in your arms, it's kind of easy to figure, but actually when we get to having to go through the fence, yeah, that'll be the point.